Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today we've got two maps of a very similar ilk. If you like one, you're probably gonna like the other one as well. Today's second map is from a creator we've done a few times in the past, and they do produce some very nice stuff. Whilst up, we have a first map, which is from a creator that doesn't have a huge amount of experience.
It's my first map.
That's right. But you know what? I'm a little bit in love with this map. Despite its flaws, and there are some flaws, don't get me wrong, not a perfect map, I am genuinely in love with this map. I think you might be on board with me when we get down there. But before we get down there, I've got a daily reminder for you all. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's first map is San Monteno Island by Jaybee. Okay, well the thumbnail's not too bad, could be done with a little bit more light on there, but the overall image from top down really pops. Start square, look, okay, nice. So drawn in by the design of that, really lovely. Terrain heights, medium-sized buildable areas. It's designed to, you have your city constrained, there's the word I'm looking for. Field painting's alright, it's alright. I mean, it looks prettier than it is actually usable. And if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, your fishing map will look like anchovies. It's okay, it's alright, it's fine. Off to the workshop when we're going off to the workshop. Now, okay, little bit of an issue here. Okay, there is a list of required items on the right. Take a glance of that as we go down. We're using the Laviante 2.1 theme, I think. Anyway, Laviante, whichever's at 2.0, it's listed on the right there, I see it now, and the Laviante LUT as well. Now, when we scroll down to the bottom, there's a couple of people having problems with the collection not working. Right, okay, well, I didn't see a collection. In fact, there isn't a link to a collection. In fact, the map isn't in a collection, which means it's, well, anyway, the map, if you put the map inside the collection, it will appear at the top of the screen. It's a lot of things to subscribe to. A lot of things to subscribe to when there isn't a collection. I don't mind that many items in a collection, but when you've, if you had none of them, luckily for me, I had most of them, but if you had none of them already, that's a lot of individual click, close, click, close, click, closes to going on. Plenty of it. Anyway, as I was saying, right, oh, before we talk about how lovely this map is, now, Mondays is the top performing map of the week. Now, the problem for me was the top performing map of the week I'd already recorded. It's appearing later on in this week. I think it's Friday it's appearing. So I couldn't do the top performing map at the moment. And then there are a whole bunch of reasons why the next 2 or 3 maps couldn't be done. And then we were down like in the middle of the top page, and honestly, it was a bit slim pickings. And then I ended up down at about number 20. I think it's about number 20, this map. And just look at the old cutting there. Look at it, so nicely done. Anyway, got down to about number 20. And this one just kind of shone. And I did notice it last week, actually. I think it was last week. I thought, ooh, that looks a bit good. And it was still floating around. Still floating around this week. And I'm glad that it was. And I'm glad that I've seen it, because I promise you, I'm a little bit in love with this map. There's your start square. I'm just so inclined to want to play this right now and stop recording. That just grabs me. Just grabs me. Those of you who watch the show regularly will know that I'm a big fan of using field shapes to help shape your city. Well, I mean, we all use the shapes of mountains and coastlines to help shape the city, and rivers, but fields are often just bulldozed by a lesser experienced player and then built over. And I say, no, use those fields to shape the city. But in your head, buy one of them or buy 2 of them and use that area, and just use the field lines as boundaries for estates and that kind of thing. I think it's a great way of doing it. And the shape of that is a really unique shape, and I absolutely adore it. For a first map, this has really piqued my... I don't know what Jaybee's got for us in the future. If anything, I do want them to come back because this has basically grabbed my attention. Now, you may have noticed also on the description there was a little word about prop and tree anarchy, and that they don't want the trees being hidden. Sort of like, okay, we'll have prop and tree anarchy on, and we won't hide any of the trees. And a few of you may have noticed a few problems with trees in the wrong places, which we'll take a better look at when we get down to do the popping around, because we're going to do some popping around, as we always do some popping around, don't we? Now, before we do any popping around, I just want to show you a couple of areas. Let's start off with the shipping routes. Shipping routes are pretty slick, on the whole. But we're going to go this way, because on the whole doesn't mean all of it, and we'll have a look at the bit that isn't quite at the end. But yeah, we've got the shipping triangles. We've got a decent route that goes all the sensible places. Shipping triangles are going to stop ships from doing right angles, which is a pleasing thing, I feel. The fact that we've got a tunnel entrance over here means, oh, hang on, we've got lots of mini shipping triangles there. I mean, more than we really need, I feel, but hey, it's okay. It's not... We got this one over here, so there's one in the middle is a bit redundant, but I'm not that bothered. Then another little shipping triangle to get into the coastline there. And then we got this. You can take a straight line over to the edge of the map, or you can loop around in towards the coastline over here. And then you get this little dead end here, which doesn't have a shipping triangle and could lead to some oddly angling ships coming in from the south here. Okay, water flow. Now, if you're a vanilla style player, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. This is about the only drawback for the map really as a whole. That's your only water source in the start square. It's a little bit weak, and if you do like to pump and draw under the old styles, then you're going to be a wee bit disappointed. But other than that, the map is pretty glorious. Okay. And the minor detailing issues that we'll catch up on in a moment. I'm liking the shapes of the coastlines, I'm liking the shapes of the mountains, I'm liking the tree painting, I'm liking so much about it. The theme and LUT combination I think work really very nicely with this as well. There's just a lot of good stuff to talk about. Amongst all the mountains and trees, we've got a couple of little buildable areas. Okay, not huge, but definitely big enough to get stuck in and to start doing a little like a coastal town there. A little coastal town in here through the valley, connected up through the valley. And another valley over here leading down to a harbour area, pre-drawn out harbour, which again, there's always somebody who doesn't like them. I don't mind them at all. But yeah, a little pre-drawn out harbour there as well. And again, lots of interesting shaped fields that are just, they're dynamic. They are absolutely dynamic, and I'm just loving it. I could just sit here and look at this all day. I'm not gonna, because it'd be a long show. It'd be pretty boring. But it's all good. It's all good. Actually, pull away. Let's pull away. So start square is a good start square. Right, let's do some popping around. So we've got the harbour area over here. You may have noticed we have a little bit of foliage cutting through the underside of the harbour, the quay there. Just a little bit. Over here, these are tunnels that are just actually pushing up through the land. So it's not actually a problem with the props and the trees, it's the actual tunnels. It just needs to be a little bit deeper in a couple of places there. Kind of looks iconic though. A little bit of floating trees, because again this tunnel is just cutting through where the trees are. The trees can be moved just a fraction, and that removes those. And highway over rail, we have a little bit of pillar issues underneath here. Again, they're very easily moved, and again aren't going to be a big issue, but I can only rate as I see when the map loads up. Bit of blue mantle in this tunnel entrance over here, which is a wee bit awkward. I'll show you a bit more about that in a moment. Also, the road is just separating away from the landscape as well. They're giving us a little bit of glitching there too. We look underground, you can see we've got actually a change of road under there, which is what's causing the blue mantle. If we'd stayed with the same road all the way through, the blue mantle would disappear. Very minor stuff, just tucked away, hidden away. Now, in the node sections, there are no highway walls. This is just one of those things. The only way around this is to manually prop detail these in. And Top Creator will do that. Of course, with my first map, I don't expect it, but I just thought I'd point it out. Also got a little bit of a bump on the down ramp there as well. Just a tiny weeny one. Very minor stuff. Speaking of mine stuff, yeah, another little node here. I mean, all of the nodes will be missing the side walls. This is the first one I spotted and the last one that I saved. Don't know why I saved both of them. Anyway, we've got the old crossroads going on, a bit of floating foliage. This is start square intersection, so a bit of floating foliage in the start square intersection. And also start square intersection with blue mantle. That is a big sin. Big sin anywhere on the map. Even bigger sin when you're down at the start square area. So there's a bit of a slap on the wrist. Jaybee, don't make any more maps. Just joking. Just joking. Please do. Some more trees hiding underneath the roads. Again, prop and tree anarchy is switched on as requested in the description, and we've got a few little props and trees just hiding away under the roads. It's fine. Anyway, loving the islands. Some of the islands are really very nice, and one or two of them I feel could just do with a little bit more work. Not that the map hasn't got plenty of work on it already. Like over, these are outlying islands, way away from the start square, so nobody really cares. Do you care? No, nobody really cares. Yeah, this island here, it's got a bit of a serrated edge, which just looks a bit glitchy. And oh, anybody want a motorbike in the living room? Yes. Oh, we've got all of them. All of the motorbikes. Anyway, so but yes, the islands are not bad. Some of them are better than others. Some of them could just use a bit of slickness added to them. So no sirens for the BonBonBingo players, but a couple of motorbikes. Are they on the bingo cards? I can't remember. Anyway, what do you think of today's first map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description to take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple or a Patreon account. And of course, make sure you are voting on the correct map, as there are 2 maps. What do I think of today's first map? Well, it's absolutely adorable in all of the senses. The design, the shape, the thoughts, the design. I'm going back to the design again. I mean, the design is so good. I'm loving it. I don't think it's polished to a high 4-star standard, but it's a 4-star map. I'm going to go for a middly low 4. That's more than good enough. More than good enough. Detailing would be potentially easily middle 4 for this map, but we've got the trees under the highways where they shouldn't be, that kind of thing. And also blue mantle in the start square area is a big sin, and that takes it down a chunk. So I'm going to have to go 3 stars, but I'm going to go towards the upper end of 3 stars. Gameplay. Oh, please, 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 please let me play it now. Somebody give me an avatar body so I can play this map right now. I'd love it. Absolutely love it. A few glitchy bits to sort out, and again, it's not going to be suited to the most vanilla player. I'm going to go for a just below middle 4. Just below. Monteno Island by Jaybee. Guess what I'm going to do? Guess what I'm going to do? Going to give it the BonBonB seal of approval. Yes. I so approve. I love this. I'm so much in love with this. But will I be in love with the next map as much? You won't have long to find out. And so on to our second map of the day. Now, this is a creator we have done a few times in the past, and I don't think I've seen a bad map from them. They are a very solid, strong, impressive, clean, crisp, well thought through creator, and they can hang around as much as they like. Today's second map is a strong one. It's probably a bit more playable for most of you than the first map, but I'll tell you what, I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn between. I genuinely am torn between the two. I really am. But I think there's going to be a few of you on board for this one. Motorbikes everywhere outside my windows today. I'm going to have to move. Anybody wants a flatmate? No? Okay, I didn't think so. Right, okay, so ready yourselves, because we're getting on board for map number 2, which is Stingray Bay by Snoozby. Yes, the thumbnail was taken by night. Come on, guys. I've got a tutorial showing you how to do these things. Please. Let's have a look at that start square. Start square looks very playable, lots of buildable space in there, and both sides of the river mouth too to get you stretched across. Really nice. Terrain heights, lots of buildable space around the bay with a couple of little alcoves in there as well. Nice. Resources, fertile and oil on the whole, offshore oil as well, so fill that bay with oil rigs. And if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, your fishing map is okay. There you go. 2 of the 4 varieties there for you. Okay, off to the workshop. By the way, this is a request map, clearly. Longest waiting request map. Anyway, we've got Snoozby at work with a nicely written description. We're using the biomes theme, the biome slut. Other than that, this is 100% vanilla, with just under the tree count limit as well, which is, again, using all of the trees. If you're going to be doing any building on this map, bulldoze the trees as you're going, because you're going to need trees. Or get yourself one of the unlimited tree mods, whichever one suits for you. Right, so the highways are pretty nice, okay? The distance between, and I'm not going to come back and look at this any more depth, but you may have noticed the distance between the 2 highways is that awkward distance that's giving us a little bit of the texture glitching between the 2, and it's okay. It's not super annoying. It's not super annoying, but it is just one of those. Yeah, personally, I would push them just a little bit closer together so the textures join up, if this was me. Or optionally, you can obviously move them apart a bit more, or you can use something like Surface Painter, which everybody tells me is broken, and I have no problem with it at all. I don't know why it's broken for you, but it's working fine for me. Surface Painter along the middle to fill that in, or you can use just like props to fill it in, or you can just not care about it. You can not care about it. I mean, many people just won't care about it, and that's fine. That's a perfectly legitimate response as well. It annoys me just a little bit. On some maps more than others. On this map, it's just a little bit. Yeah, there are other maps where the distance is just a bit wider between the highways, and it really does glitch quite nastily. And those are the ones that really pick on my eggs, they do. Anyway, first intersection, very slickly done because it's Snoozby. That looks like it's going up to a dead end up there, right? You'd be wrong, but you'd also be right. We'll get down that way towards, I'm going to do a full loop, and then we'll have a look at it when we do the full loop, because it is and it isn't. It is and it isn't. It's going to be one of those things that a few of you are going to be excited by, depending on whether you've done it before or not. Oh, by the way, pillar placement on this rail over road bridge is absolutely on point. It's vanilla. It's just swiveled around. Again, many a lesser creator just wouldn't have noticed that. And Snoozby did. And Snoozby is good. Snoozby's one of the good ones. And the thing with Snoozby maps, they always have a really nice flow to them. And I'd love to say that about the other creators. I mean, even some of the greats, the maps don't necessarily always have the quality's there, the design is there. Start Square intersection, by the way. It's like a bit of it's a snitch, isn't it? It's the snitch from Harry Potter. That's what that is. Start Square, little bit of dirt track just at the end there, just a loop around, loop back. That's all good. It's all good. And again, lots of rock detailing around there as well. But yes, I was talking about other creators. Sometimes you can get, you can look at, say, let's just pick a random great creator. One of the Sidis of the world. Let's look at the Sidi. Some of their maps don't have the flow. The design is there, and the buildability is there, and the detailing is there, and the aesthetics are there. But it doesn't necessarily have a flow. Snoozby, you could go the other way. You could say their maps don't necessarily have all of the extra level aesthetics or the detailing. Not that those things really matter, because you can put those in as your city building, but they always have a really nice flow to them, their maps, and I think that's just a really nice thing. It's a really, really nice thing. Always excited by a Snoozby map. Goes off to the edge of the map there, and then the roads go. Sid, if you're watching this, Sid, I'm not saying your maps stink. They don't stink. I'm just saying as a flow. It's the only word I have for it. This map has a flow to it. Anyway, the road continues and then disappears, where the bridges have to be put in by yourself, and I like that. It's just a nice thing for those of you that want to build a big old bridge, because everybody loves a big old bridge. Well, that's where your big old bridge is going to go, and it's going to be down to you to make sure it's high enough to allow for shipping to go through. Remember to do that. You get shipping clipping in your own city, don't come crying to me. It be your own fault. Right, okay, let's pull the camera back a little bit. So I'm liking the overview. Also, Stingray, why Stingray Bay? Well, have a look at the shape of the bay. Right, this is the Stingray. That's its tail, and then you get its other wing there. I don't know what these things are technically called. Don't have stingrays local to me. And it's just a really nice shaped map with just a big old bay to build around, off-centered, really nicely done as well to give more buildable space. The sand painting underneath, I don't know. I like the idea. I really like the idea. I don't like the styling of it. It's a bit blotchy. There are ways and means around this one, rather using the terrain, bringing it a little bit closer to the water depth and deeper the water depth rather than actually using the sand brush. But yeah, it just doesn't quite work for me. The magic isn't quite there with the sand painting personally. Then over here we have a look at the Essential Lighthouse. Ah, isn't she lovely? That's for the BonBonBingo players. Link is in the description. Liking the way that the jetty just connects up here. I mean, I'm not loving, but I'm liking, because you can't get onto the Essential Lighthouse via the steps, but you can via the pier. So I kind of like it, and I kind of really don't, in equal measures. It's a personal thing. Popping under the water there. Also, it's really high, so you're not. This is more of a fishing pier than a shipping pier, isn't it? Mind you, it's an Essential Lighthouse, so you're not going to be mooring up your ships around there. As you can't moor up your ships around there, good to see there is actually a footpath around to get to the lighthouse. So it's all a nice little things that have been thought about by Snoozby to allow for access to areas, which is nice. The beach. Now, okay, I'm pointing this out because this is a good example. This is a good example of a nice beach. First of all, the theme that makes it look really good. We've got it nicely lined by trees as well. And look at the shape, okay? We've got the slope coming up, then flat, and then just a little ridge as we go up onto the landscape. Pointing that out again because it's a very nicely done beach, and I applaud good quality, and I like the good quality, and we've got some very nice quality there. Look to do that sort of thing on your own maps, won't you? Now, what else have we got? Should we do some popping around? Come on, there we go. Okay, this is a start square. This is your water flow in your start square, and you notice we've got good strong water flow in the start square. Unlike the previous map where there was no movement, we've got a lot of movement, and it's pretty wide as well. So again, for more of your vanilla base game player style players, this one's definitely going to be more suited to you. Shipping routes, we do get one coming into the bay, which is neatly done. We have a shipping triangle at the top, which loops around the top corner of the map. And so you get a little bit of shipping in the distance and a little bit of shipping on the edge of the map over there. Again, just mostly distance shipping. But if you want to put a harbour on that little bit of beach area, you could also. We've got some lakes. The lakes and the mountains and the forests on this map, I just completely buy into. I just like in the shape. There's just a natural shape to that. A believably natural shape on what is a rocky mountainous area. Now, one thing again, we had a look at the sand earlier, and I'm not so sure about the sand painting, but the forest painting, it's just good. It's good. Loving the way it's been working with the old rocky areas. Oh, I've got a little bit of underwater. Probably could be smoothed out a little bit. Again, I don't mind it, but I don't think it's meant to be like that. It just drops away a bit. Maybe it is meant to be like that. I'm not entirely sure. Now, this is this edge of map beach, the one that faces off towards the corner. Now, this one, no tree linings on this one. Also, if you put the lines of terrain on, it's smooth. So what's causing the shape of the beach here? Well, it's just basically not finished. I think Snoozby forgot about this little stretch of beach, and again, it's just showing you the difference between a good quality beach and this is an okay beach on an average map. That's an okay beach. In terms of the beach location, that's the least important beach on the map, so it really doesn't matter that much at all. Again, tree painting on the mountains works really well. I'm not a fan of trees on mountains, on cliff faces as a rule, but if done with panache, it just makes it believable, and I feel that this has become, for me, believable. So there's some credits to be given. A little bit more, I like giving a bit of credit. where I have a rule and then somebody breaks that rule and it really works. And it really worked there. Now, okay, we do have one little grumble. These are trees underneath rocks. Now, playing 100% vanilla, these would be hidden away. But these aren't part of the asset. Now, you could look and say, well, they look like little bushes growing out of the little cracks in the rock. And some of them, I'd agree with you. Some of them do look like they're bushes growing through cracks in rocks. But there are some examples which, for me, like this one here, is that a bush? Maybe it is a bit like mossy. Oh, there's one. There you go. That's clearly makes no sense. So yes, there's a little bit here and there of debatable fine-tuned detailing, but most of it you could find arguments. There is a crack in the rock, you just can't see it because of the canopy of the tree. Trying to find excuses, but excuses are fine. They're legitimate. Anyway, what do you think of today's second map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it in the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description. Take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple or a Patreon account. And remember, vote on the correct map because there are 2 maps to vote on. What do I think of this second map? Well, it's got a flow to it. So I can see Sidai crying into his hanky at the moment. Oh, no, it's got a flow to it. I just like the design. It's simple, it's clean, it's crisp, and the theme and luck combo work really well for it as well. I'm gonna go for just slightly below middle 4, just slightly below. I'm liking it. Detailing. So want to give 4 stars for this. I so want to give 4 stars for this, but it just doesn't quite feel like a 4-star map, and I don't really get why. I'm going to go for a very high 3 stars, but I've got no proper grumbles with it at all. It's good. Yeah, 3's a pass mark anyway. Gameplay, middle 4 for me. Middle 4 for me. It's got everything in place, and it has that flow to it. It has lots of buildable space. Bigger city build than the first map as well, for those of you that want to do a bigger city. And I think Stingray Bay by Snoozby is a little bit of a quiet winner. And also deserves the BonBonB seal of approval. A double approval day. This is going to be a new thing. I probably need a sting for a double approval day, don't I? I've really enjoyed today's show. I have really enjoyed it. 2 very nicely accomplished maps. So hopefully, Mom, do you agree, Mom? I think Mom agrees as well. I think she does. Oh, God save the Queen, long live the Queen. I wonder if I get invited to a court one day. I mean, it's very unlikely. I've been BonBonB. You've been very, very welcome. If you're still here, use the word of the day in the comments. Score yourself some population points to prove you're part of the 20 and out elite. And I'll be back on Wednesday with another What map. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again very, very soon.